Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, man, we got a video by Swish Out titled Everything the 2022 NBA Playoffs is Proving So Far. So, the conference finals are all set, ready to go with that. I would say the playoffs have been pretty damn entertaining, man. Like, I've been a fan, especially because I've been rooting for the Boston Celtics, so that makes it even more fun in my choice. But, yeah, let's check this out and have this breakdown of everything you missed. Maybe you're just popping up for the conference finals and you need a little refresher. Let's get it.
D'Angelo Russell is no longer my favorite player, bro. It's over. Since this is the end of an era, for the last time, I'm gonna give the story as to why I supported this man so much in the first place.
Well, why don't you like him anymore?
All the time, man. Trust me, I understand your curiosity. I'm a big fan of the Buckeyes. Since 07 when we lost in the basketball championship to the Gators and the football championship to the very same team. D'Lo went to what school? The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yep, I remember watching it there.
Or maybe I'm just alone on this one. But I feel like every basketball fan has that one player that it's like you've seen his skill set and you've seen his potential from the very beginning, but he didn't immediately live up to what you once thought, and you have to take
low key. I'm going to juice up Luke Kennard a little bit, but I think people are recognize Luke Kennard is a good quality basketball player. So I'm just going to point that out real quick here for anybody that was wondering.
Early L, but then he starts to boom, and it's like, oh, I look like the boy genius because I never sold my stock. That's what I thought I had in D'Lo.
No, people just don't give you credit. It's only credit if you're wrong.
But since then, bro, he's let me down time after time after time, and I can't do it no more, bro. I'm sorry, I'm done. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit when I say this, but I'm not sure if I am. D'Angelo Russell had the worst performance of the entire playoffs, and quite frankly, I'm not sure if it's even that close. This man averaged 12 points. 12 points. He got benched because he was damn near unplayable down the stretch of games. He wouldn't attack the basket to save his life, and he played some of the most scary, inefficient, hesitant basketball I think I've ever seen.
And, I like the 7 assists per game, but, when it comes to D'Lo, I just don't know if I like the fit next to Anthony Edwards. I just don't know if that's it. I don't know if that's it. I still think D'Lo is, a third option on, a championship team, given the right, if the top two guys are those type of players and everything. But, yeah, I get his frustration. I get it.
Just to put into some perspective of how bad this man actually was, bro, 67 players this year averaged 15 points or more. 67 players averaged 15 points plus, right? Out of those 67 players, 40 of them made the playoffs. Out of all 40 players that actually averaged 15 points plus and made the playoffs, D'Lo averaged the least amount in the playoffs, and he was down there with Rudy Gobert, who we know has no offensive bag, and this man D'Lo averaged 18 in the regular season. Bro, I'm done. He's not clutch. He's not that guy. I'm done.
All right.
Today's video is brought to you by
DraftKings. Let's get the man's code up in here, man. If you all want to use the DraftKings, where are we at with that? And there we go. Code Swish Out. Let's get it.
I think he's been obviously. I'm sure since we got him, everybody expected the Houston James Harden. But that's not who he is anymore.
Nor is that how the team's built or operated. Nor should it be.
James Harden is officially done. The James Harden of old
he says done.
Is no mas. I've literally touched on this subject all season long, bro. I have. At first, Harden wasn't himself because the rule changes. The refs, they weren't giving him the calls they used to.
For sure was the start.
And we kind of attributed his struggles to that. Then towards the end of his tenure in Brooklyn, it looked like he just quit. Like he had that infamous play against Detroit where he turned the ball over and didn't even go after
I was
it,
there.
and just dunked it. And his numbers would indicate
actually my
that he quit on the
point of view right
Nets.
there too.
Then he did what he does best. He has the greatest honeymoon stage with a new team ever. Literally, every time he goes to a new team, it looks as if he's actively trying to prove this is who I.
The thing that's annoying too is that James Harden, he's almost stuck in between hero ball Harden and Ben Simmons Harden. Man, when you score 2 points in the second half of a closeout game, yeah, that's Ben Simmons Harden right there. Where there's so much room for him to be a good, I feel like Harden is very intelligent. He's a very smart player. I think he could at least be a Malcolm Brogdon type. You know what I'm saying? Just play a little on ball, a little off ball. Be overall pretty efficient, be more about the system, not about the isolation. I feel like he's got a really good role in the NBA for that. But then again, Malcolm Brogdon ain't being no pain, no super max. So I don't know, man.
I really am. And what you've seen with that last team, bro, I was just trying to leave. And initially he did that. And then he went right back almost immediately to looking washed. James Harden has now played a total of 32 games with the Sixers, including the playoffs.
Too much ISO.
In those 32 games, he has a total of 2 30-point games. 2. I know this doesn't sound like it should be a big deal, but you have to understand who we're talking about.
Not a great indicator.
And the standard he sets. Like I said, bro, he played 32 games with the Sixers and had 2 30-point games. Do y'all remember when this man had 32 consecutive 30-point games 3 years ago? Like, this is one of the greatest scorers of all time, easily the greatest of this generation.
Literally should be running the damn pick and roll with Embiid the entire damn game. Like, the isolation stuff, like, that works like in a D'Antoni, like, small ball system, but when you got, like you gotta utilize the big dude as a damn MVP candidate. Like,
since James Harden
became
James Harden, and I consider that
to
be
Doc
James
Rivers.
Harden in 2015 when he was runner-up to Stephen Curry in the MVP voting, right? Since he became that dude, he's played 97 playoff games. In those 97 playoff games, he scored under 20 points 19 times. 6 of those 19 times came this year in the 11 playoff games he played.
Wow.
Last year,
wow.
James Harden had an 18-game stretch where he averaged almost 30 with 11 dimes and was well into the thick of things with the MVP conversation. I know we all remember that. Last year against Boston, do you know he had the second most efficient first round of the entire playoffs and was the most efficient guard by far? Bro, this was like 10, 11 months ago.
Yeah, he was bought into it too, to an extent.
Milwaukee when he walked off the court like 10 seconds into the game, and he just hasn't been the same since. And quite frankly, I don't think he's ever coming back. I think that James Harden is officially done. Jimmy Butler.
It's just crazy to think that, like, that he's... Because that wasn't that long ago. And it's like to think like a player fell off that quickly. Like, I know we say that James Harden doesn't really keep his body in the best shape, but even like the mentality, like, it's got to be the mentality thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's just like fed up with things. Maybe he's like leaving the Houston Rockets hasn't become like everything he like hoped and dreamed of. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Is truly that guy in the playoffs, and last year doesn't accurately represent who he is in the biggest moment.
Tobias Harris over me.
We all remember what this man did in the bubble, and I think even subconsciously, even me, we kind of attributed his success in that environment to that environment. This man had a 40-point game in the finals where it looked like he was having a Jordan flu game type of moment where he looked all tired. He led his team in every major stat category.
When you're in a bubble like that and you see all those personalities together, as opposed to spread out over the whole damn United States or whatever, you really do see where like that next geared focus that Jimmy Butler really had in the bubble and everything, and really you just see it now too. It's just like that's just who Jimmy is. Like the man is locked in during the playoffs.
In that finals, he damn near averaged a triple
Let's
double,
Rachel around,
and he pushed LeBron at 80 to 6 games. Like, I didn't know how legitimate that was, and I just had to see it again. I ain't gonna hold you. Then last year,
or selling his coffee.
They just let me down. Now, to add some context, they did go through a lot. They had a shortened season just like the Lakers, so that contributed to it. They had a lot of injuries. They had the COVID stuff. They had lack of continuity with their roster. They had the big trade rumors looming around their whole organization with Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, James Harden.
They kept Hero.
It was a lot going on, but they played the Bucks, and I picked Miami to upset the Bucks, and they got embarrassed. They just got torn to pieces. Tyler Hero played terrible. Jimmy Butler literally had one of the worst performances I've ever seen in the playoffs. Like, he couldn't throw a penny in the ocean. But then this year, they came back, and it's like they were on some type of quiet vengeance tour that nobody paid proper attention to. But now you're forced to, bro, because they're one of the last 4 teams remaining. Jimmy Butler this playoff.
Yeah, he was not getting high respect. I can vouch for that 100%
of his career, even better than the 2020.
And they still weren't going to get it from me because, like I said, I'm on Team Celtics, for this playoff run here. So I was on Team Heat, I think, last year, maybe the year before.
Has played in 91
Team
playoff
Celtics
games
this time, though,
total.
man.
If you look at his top 11 playoff performances, or at least his playoff career highs, almost half of them have come in these 11 playoff games alone, and he's only 11 games in. Also,
on a mission,
the numbers would
as he should be.
He's probably having the best all-around playoffs of anybody. He's top 5 in points per game. He's the number 1 steals leader. He's first in offensive win shares. He's top 5 in defensive win shares.
Man.
He has the 3rd best plus minus. And
that man doesn't win the Eastern Conference Larry Bird MVP award. I don't know who will, man. It's a new award. Y'all hear about it?
His team, they only lost 3 games when he's out there.
Western Conference.
Jimmy Butler's having the best playoff run of his career, and he's proven that last year that doesn't represent who he really is. Kyrie Irving's success is solely dependent on LeBron James. It's been proven, and if you're arguing this after this year, you have no argument, literally. Obviously, I'm not talking about his skill set. I ain't talking about his bag or anything like that.
100%.
Obviously, his game is like art. I love watching Kyrie play.
I remember Kyrie before LeBron. I know Kyrie during LeBron. I've seen Kyrie after LeBron, and the stops he's taken along the way. Kyrie wanted to, be the number one leader on a team. It's just not his game. He needs to be in a situation where he can focus solely on playing basketball and that skill set.
I'm talking about his team success and how far you can actually go with Kyrie on your team. So far, he's done nothing without LeBron. Nothing. Last year against Milwaukee, we all seen what happened, and some people, including myself, we feel as if it possibly caused them a championship, right? But if you look at Kyrie's track record, even if you look at him when he played with LeBron, he's always done this. This has always been his history. It's always been something, literally since he stepped out of high school. Yes, Kyrie
college,
hit that shot, and no, nobody can ever take that from him. Not just that shot, but that entire finals. He played great, right? But if you look at his career, he's always hurt his team to some extent. Bro, I looked into this and I was actually surprised. Kyrie's teams have made the playoffs 8 times since he's been in the NBA. 8 times.
8 times, not
4
bad.
of those 8 teams, they've all had if only Kyrie were there moments. 4. 2015. LeBron has to play basically both top seeds in both conferences without Kyrie Irving. If you look at the Atlanta Hawks, they were the number 1 seed, and Kyrie basically missed that entire series. And Golden State,
only Kyrie
they were the top
there.
seed in the West, and obviously he missed that entire series, so he was out right there. 2018, the Boston Celtics, they have a better record without Kyrie, and he misses the entire playoffs.
Damn,
2020,
man.
the Brooklyn Nets, they have a better record without Kyrie Irving, and he misses the playoffs again. And then in 2021, he rolls his ankle, so it's always something with Kyrie, and he's missed 4 out of the 8 playoff appearances.
And man, this is a good point too. And you just think going in and out of games like that, like when you do play don't play, like Kyrie isn't somebody you just okay, he's playing again, he's gonna sit in the corner, shoot some threes. Like Kyrie takes over the offense. So man, I can even see chemistry wise and everything.
He possibly could have been a part of. So that's 4. It's
Kyrie a liability?
There are moments. And let's look at the other 4. Well, 2 of them he actually played great with LeBron James. And the other 2 are quite literally the 2 worst playoff performances he had in his entire career.
It's quite
I'm dead ass when I say that. The 2019 gentleman sweep against Milwaukee,
quite
where
different.
This man went 7-32 from the 3-point line and literally had the most inefficient series of his entire career. And this year, if you take out game 1, he literally had the worst series of his entire career. So like I said, he made the playoffs 8 times. 4 of them, his team had only Kyrie were there moments. 2 of them, he played great with LeBron, and the other 2 are the worst of his career. If you really look at his career so far, it's been a letdown without LeBron James, and that's just the facts.
100% facts.
And the Utah Jazz, they're
Same
just
song and dance.
a disgrace, bro. They
Same
are.
song and dance.
Now we're hearing a possible rumor of Rudy Gobert giving the Utah Jazz an ultimatum between him and Donovan Mitchell. Rudy Gobert has clearly been drinking, talking about he can lock up Shaq. They're just an embarrassment, bro. I'm sorry, they are. I'm not trying to blame Rudy Gobert per se, because I know he's a defensive anchor and he only can control what he can control. But for a team to have a defensive player of the year that many times and to be a defensive minded team like they are, they get embarrassed every single time they make the playoffs every year.
All drops 96
literally
points.
For the last 3 years. Every single playoffs, players have their breakout games on the Utah Jazz in the playoffs. Every single year. Jamal Murray in 2020. We all, just like I said about.
And the thing is like Donovan Mitchell can have those series where it's he's dropped 50 points or something like that. My issue with the Utah Jazz is that the fan base is so locked in that Rudy Gobert can be the number 2 guy, get paid to be the number 2 guy. But while you can see players break out and it's just hey, this player, wow, what is it expect from that? You always know exactly what you're getting out of Rudy Gobert. And that's not saying that's a bad thing. Analytically, he's great. And, defensively, he's fantastic. But he ain't no X factor. It's you know exactly what you're getting. And it's just you need that top 1, top 2 player that can really elevate in the playoffs and stuff, man. And I just don't feel like Rudy does that. So maybe I'm the minority on that.
We attributed his success to the bubble, the environment, the Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray class, or whatever. But if you really look at it, Jamal Murray had only scored over 40 points twice in his entire career. Against Utah, he did it 3 times, and in fact, he went for 50 twice, something that he's never done in his entire career. Against who? The Defensive Player of the Year and the defensive mindset team they had, the Utah Jazz. It always happens. In 2021,
I'm so happy Marcus Smart got Defensive Player of the Year because we need to start paying more respect towards being able to do something defensively besides just clamp it up in the paint. Like, I get, like, threes and layups, like, that's the thing you want these days, obviously, with the NBA, but it's like, I think the three-point shot has become more vital than just, like, even, like, getting to the basket, you know what I'm saying? So being able to, like, be, like, a multi-diversible type of defensive player out there, man, is so important. I'm not saying, like, Rudy can't, like, hold his own, occasionally on the perimeter, but that's not why he wins Defensive Player of the Years, and I don't know. It's just like I hope this is like a new era of like recognize the greatness of defensively when it comes to the perimeter.
2021. Terrence Mann has scored 39 points. Prior to that, I don't even know if he had a 30-point game in his career. This year, Jalen Brunson,
total.
I looked it up. He hasn't scored 40 points since he was in
Piston.
high school. He outplayed everybody on their team. And he scored 41 for the first time since he was in high school in 2015. Bro, this team is something wrong with them. Also, this is the back-to-back year where they lose in the most embarrassing way possible, bro.
Mitchell's just done.
2020, they blow a 3-1 lead. 2021, they blow a 2-0 lead. Kawhi Leonard is out for games 5 and 6, and they still lose. And this year,
unacceptable.
Luka Doncic is out for games 1, 2, and 3, and they still lose. And like I said, Jalen Brunson outplays everybody on their team. Like I said, bro, they're cursed. It's something wrong with them, and I'll never get behind them again. If you guys...
All right, that looks like that's the end of the video right there. But, man, even to say, like, cursed, it's the definition of insanity. Like, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Like, this Jazz team, we know who they are every season. They're going to be fine in the regular season. Playoffs going to roll around with the same players. And it's just not constructive for playoff success. But this was actually a really, really fun video to watch. Check out Switch out, link to his channel description below. Thank you all so much for watching. And peace out, my friends.